Next thing that we need to do for our project is we need a slab. So I already wedged this clay. You can see it has a little spiral to it. And I already flattened it a little. To roll out your clay, what you're gonna need is 2 pieces of something that are the same height. So this is old trim that goes around a door. And you'll notice it is a 1/4 inch, okay? And if I go and place this on either side of my clay, what it means is when I'm rolling it out, it will not go any thinner than these 2 sides. When I'm rolling it out, keep in mind the pieces that you're cutting. So if the pieces that you're cutting are thin, then you can certainly just roll a thin layer of clay like I'm gonna do. Now, if you do not have a rolling pin at home, this works great. This is not a wrapping paper tube. This is actually the tube for a laminator. And so something like this would work fantastically. Or if you have a piece of PVC pipe, which is what I'm gonna use. Okay, piece of PVC pipe works great too. And you'll notice the PVC pipe I've wrapped with paper, and that's because if you try to do it with just plastic, it's gonna stick. You want to roll it and rotate it, roll it and rotate it. And we're doing that because if you roll it in one direction, it's going to remember that direction. Oh, we got a little air bubble, so I'm going to pop the air bubble, squish the air out. Now, because we're rolling it, that air bubble is not going to be a big deal. So I can keep going. Okay. So now that you see it's at the height of these sticks, once it gets to that height, it's not going to go any flatter. So that's going to be it. Okay. Now, once you have your clay rolled out, okay, again, this is a 1/4 inch that I've rolled it. Your next step is to rib your clay. The reason we rib our clay is obvious. You see all those wrinkles on the surface? Those wrinkles are not going to look very nice. So I'm going to take a stiff rubber rib. For those of you who are using homemade tools, your Kroger Plus card works fantastic for ribbing. We want to hold it parallel to the surface of the clay. We don't want to remove clay. See, I'm not removing clay. I want to smooth the clay and compress it. Compressing means that it has less volume but the same mass. So by compressing it, we make it take up less room and it is less likely to warp when we compress. Boop. Bam. All right, so that side is ribbed. You could flip it and rib the other side, which a lot of people do, so let's do that. And notice if you didn't, you just have these marks in the texture of whatever you're rolling on. I am rolling on canvas because my entire work table is covered in a canvas cloth. But some of you might be rolling on your nice wooden or laminate table. There you are. Okay. Now, what we would want to do is we can let this dry and set up a bit, or we can cut out our template and then let it set up. I'm going to go ahead and cut out my template so that I can reuse the clay right away. So off screen, I am cutting out my template that I drew in a previous video for a cup. It's a nice simple shape that's easy to alter. So here is my cup template. I'm going to place it down here. Okay, and I can use anything I want to cut with. So I'm just going to grab any old tool that I think might have a pointy edge or be easy to cut with. Pointy tools work great. If you're stuck at home trying to make this work, a steak knife works fine. And we're going to cut all the way through like that. All right, so now we have our first template piece, and you are ready to take this extra piece off and roll it out again and cut your other pieces, which is what I'm going to do off camera. See you in a minute.